125-121 is the final. The Clippers snap their four-game losing streak. Their bench, they have the highest scoring bench in the NBA. 51 points a game. They had 67 points tonight off the bench and beat the Dallas Mavericks 125-121.
What's wrong with Dennis Smith Jr.?
Wrist.
I mean, because to me, when they get him and Doncic together,
it's tough.
That's going to be nice.
Tough.
This game is just one of those that proves, I mean, there's not an easy game in the Western Conference.
No,
because
There's nothing you can circle and say, okay, that's a W. Oh, Phoenix.
okay.
No, Phoenix
They're on a four-game
I know they're on a four-game
But
winning.
that's the one you would expect.
But
Don't disrespect my sons,
I'm not.
Ernie.
I guarantee
It.
I know
They
we
haven't
don't.
lost since I guarantee it.
I know, it's exactly right.
I think that the one thing about the Western Conference is that you cannot have not go into the game without a game plan. And what happens is in the NBA, the games come so fast, and the teams. This is the first time, Reg and Chuck, that the teams don't play similarly.
Right.
Like usually in the West, you go when you're an Eastern Conference player, you go, I'm going to the West, and everyone plays this way.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Golden State, Sacramento, and you have Houston that play really, really fast.
Right.
And then you have Minnesota, who's going to play a little bit more deliberate and get in. And then you have a plethora of teams that's playing different ways. So when they go back to back, you're changing your style a little bit more than you have ever done, I think, in the Western
To
Conference.
me, there's three heavyweight contenders in the Western Conference.
Who?
Denver.
Yes.
Well, let me start. Golden State.
Yes.
Denver.
Yes.
And OKC.
Okay.
Everyone else after that, it's a free-for-all.
Well,
and they're going to beat one another up until someone separates and wants that fourth
And you
spot.
play the Lakers, you play in a different way because they have LeBron
No,
James
but I think
isolation.
Reggie's point is not 100% agree with you. There's three elite teams. And then when Minnesota play the Lakers, that's a toss-up.
Right.
When the Lakers play the Rockets, that's a toss-up.
When Houston plays Utah, Portland, Minnesota,
So that's why it's
Memphis.
Gonna,
They're all in there.
but
San Antonio.
I do
He doesn't
think
think the Clippers are going to make the playoffs.
It's very close. I think they're a playoff team, but I think I think Dallas is a playoff team, but
we can only have 8, Reg. You can't
I know
invite
they're on the
everybody to
outside
party.
looking in. That's why I say, to Kenny's point. After those top three, everyone's going to beat one
Right,
another.
but like I said, you play the Lakers, you play isolation. You play Dame, with Lillard and
C.J. McCollum.
Then you're playing perimeter outside
Right.
one-on-one isolation. It's a totally so it's hard to prepare. When you go to Eastern Conference, everyone kind of plays the same in the East.
I think there's somebody's got to make a blockbuster trade. Because right now,
It means okay. When you say blockbuster,
I think that
what team it is?
I'm not saying
What's the team that needs to do it the most?
Well, I'm saying three teams have separated themselves
Okay.
in the West. And you have to say, we can't beat those three teams if anybody other than those three teams.
Right.
You got to do something. You can't stand pat, is my point.
Is it Portland? Is it the Lakers? Is it
Houston.
I think all three of those teams need to do something if they got any chance.
So Minnesota. Minnesota made a trade, but it wasn't. It's
Well,
blockbuster.
I like the trade for Minnesota and Philly.
Right.
I think that was the first trade. I think that will get Minnesota to the playoffs. But if you're talking the big picture,
Minnesota is currently 14.
Yeah, but I think they will. I think they'll. But they probably only 3 games away from being.
No, they're only.
Yeah.
If I had to
Two on
say,
the loss side out of the 8.
if I had to say the one team that needs to make that moves I would say Houston Rockets.
No question.
Because
But
the
who can
expectation
they get to bring in?
It doesn't. I don't know.
They gotta do payroll.
But
Who
the
can they
expectation of where they need to be and what they were, I don't think can be met
Well, let me tell you something else.
on the current roster.
First of all, I agree with you, Kenny.
Yeah.
But if Chris Paul is out, let's say
2.5 weeks.
2 weeks,
Right.
the Rockets are not going to make the playoffs.
It's a lot of games left, Chuck.
Yeah, and they're going to lose them without
And the
Chris Paul.
way that James Harden has elevated his game over the last 10 days, 5 games, it's hard for me to go against that because he can carry them until Chris Paul gets healthy.
And we've just seen Houston go from 14 to 7 in the span of a
Right.
week by winning 5 in a row.
I agree
Sure,
with
they
Chuck.
could.
Chris
Sure, they
Paul
could
was
drop
there.
back
But
again.
Chris Paul was there.
I know, and I'm saying without him, they could drop back again, and then they get him back, and then they move up there again.
Yeah, but
So-
the problem with it, though, Ernie, they could lose 3-4 games in a row. Like I say, they got to be. Chris is an older player. And these guys know hamstrings are rough. And Chris he plays the toughest position in the NBA with his point
No
guard.
doubt.
So
Maybe because Reggie and our legs were so skinny, I don't think I've never had a hamstring.
you have to have muscle.
Yes, I'm just saying.
You
neither
guys
one of
didn't
us-
have muscle.
I never had a hamstring injury, so I don't know how rough it is, honestly.
Speaking of the Rockets.